Welcome to Pack the Rock Podcast with Hoosier Network. Thank you all for joining us. I'm your host, William Stewart, and to my left, our rookie, Ian Plaskoff, and across from us, we're going back to usual, Ava Wegenke, and then Nick Rodecap.
Bucky's shirt today.
Shout out. No shades today.
No shades.
They're on my head.
No shades.
As you can see very clearly. Which I should probably take them off.
Got to prepare for the
because
rain.
Because now we're
Pacific
prepping the Cubs,
Northwest.
and hopefully they don't get swept tonight. That'd be kind of nice.
I think we all know what's happening there.
We're talking about football, Plaskoff.
Dang.
Indiana was on a bye week last week, but they still went up in the AP poll because we're going to look at the results from what happened and why they probably went up. And someone's going to have a comment on one of the games of why Indiana went up. Number one team in the country, the Ohio State Buckeyes beat Minnesota 42-3. Michigan beat Wisconsin 24-10. Illinois beat Purdue 42-27. Washington beat Maryland 24-20 by scoring 24 unanswered points in the second half. Nebraska beat Michigan State 38-27. And the big one, the unranked, winless UCLA Bruins beat the number, 7 team in the land at the moment? The Penn State Nittany Lions 42-37. And Penn State has become unranked since then, which is why Indiana moved up a spot from 7 to 8. And I'm just going to let Plaskoff get on his soapbox at this point.
Well, I think everybody that has listened to this podcast for the entire year has hopefully seen this coming because I tend to be right on these things, and I was.
Tell them, damn.
Penn
State
State was never good.
Correct.
And I have been saying that. Now, Indiana plays Penn State in like 3 weeks, so we kind of want Penn State to be good.
To the day.
But UCLA coming into that game was the lowest rated Power 4 team in strength of record. They might have even been dead last in all of FBS in strength of record coming into that game. And you had a feeling that Penn State was going to be a little bit on their heels, a little bit, hung over from the Oregon loss, which admittedly was a pretty good game until Drew Aller threw his scheduled interception. Penn State just did not do anything well in that game. And they started out down 10-0 because of that beautiful onside kick. And then Nico played well for the first time this season, and it was a perfect time. UCLA's new play caller, 33-year-old, who looks like he's 12.
Respect Jerry Neuheisel.
Jerry Neuheisel
That was
did
crazy.
a fantastic
that was
job.
unnecessary stray.
Fantastic.
Respect Jerry Neuheisel.
He was great, and he just earned himself a job. Got carried onto the field after the game. He was amazing. UCLA played a great game, and James Franklin did not coach his team to a good game. Also, Texas, it's worth noting, lost to a Florida team in the swamp.
DJ Lagway looked like a
DJ
five-star
Lagway
quarterback
looked
for the
good.
first time all year.
So there's that. So a little update on the strength of record for those that are following. Penn State is now at 79th, one spot behind Indiana's Week 2 opponent, Kennesaw State. And Texas, they didn't drop too much. They dropped, where did they go?
Oh, we can't even find them. They're so low. It's nuts.
Texas, 55. So they dropped 5 spots. 1 spot behind the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Go Big Red.
Shout out.
Yeah, so that happened. Indiana moved up 1 spot and won the bye week. So there's that, yeah.
Indiana beat the bye week by a score of 42-0. The new AP poll, we'll just go over it outside of Indiana, becoming the new number 7. Ohio State still at number 1 in the country. The Oregon Ducks fall to number 3. Michigan up to 15. Illinois up to 17. And Notre Dame is at 16 with 2 losses. And Nebraska's also receiving votes, so that's something
Good
to look
for them.
at. Yeah. Beat Michigan State, who Indiana will see in 2 weeks from now.
They beat a Michigan State team led by Aiden Childs, who went 9 for 22 passing and 2 picks.
Yeah,
Not great for my agenda.
Still very
No.
raw. Still a loose cannon. Yikes.
Very much so.
I would like to propose a question here. Miami or Ohio State, who would be the more deserving number 1?
Miami.
Ooh.
No question. Miami.
She's
It's
pondering.
Miami. I mean,
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
beaten Notre Dame. They just beat the snot out of Florida State on the road. I don't know that there's a more deserving team than Miami.
Because you think about Ohio State now, and they no longer have a currently ranked win.
Yeah, and I mean, we said this early in the season. Texas was never the number one team. Arch Manning had been overhyped from the start, and it was clear just from that game that Texas was not functionally competent on offense. And I mean, I don't know that moving the goalpost on Ohio State and saying, I mean, technically now they don't have a win over a team that's currently ranked in the polls, but I just think if you look at the resumes, Miami. It's not easy to win at Florida State, especially considering that Florida State team beat Alabama earlier in the year and then lost to Virginia and then lost to Miami. But Miami's got one of the better resumes in the country, and I think they're more deserving than Ohio State right now. Now, if Ohio State beats the brakes off Illinois, then maybe. But I think you're splitting hairs either way because both teams are clearly two of the most complete teams in the nation.
I think there's a drop-off
Yeah.
of Ohio State, Miami, Oregon, and then it cuts off to
Everyone
a new tier.
else.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Wasn't it almost like that last year, though?
Yeah.
It's just the college football landscape. And now it's just more dramatized.
We're only halfway through, not even.
Yeah, not even. It's week 7. All right, that's the AP poll. That's all the discussion we're going to do about that. No one needs
That
to
was
get
not heated today.
No.
Yeah,
That
it
was
very
calm. That was very civil.
I mean, the two outliers are no longer in their
Well,
spots.
yeah,
'cause
Plaskoff
it's
doesn't have
'cause-
to do his thing about Penn State
It's
anymore.
because the AP voters finally actually did something right. I mean, they
Yeah.
actually dropped. I mean, Penn State still got votes, which is really funny, but they actually dropped Penn State and Texas both.
Come on, AP voters, mess up so we can have stuff to talk about.
No, they actually got something right. And, it kind of gets to a point now where if you keep winning, the goalposts can't keep moving. So eventually you're going to get what's yours, and it's just a question of whether or not the AP voters actually acknowledge that. And I think now they've gotten to a point where they have, which is a very fortunate thing.
And that's the thing, too, with moving the goalpost thing. That's why I think Ohio State's still number one, because they're still winning. They haven't lost a game. You can't make the argument that, they didn't beat. They still beat Texas when they were ranked. It's a ranked win at the end of the day. And they're 5-0. You can't.
If you're taking it strictly at face value, yes. But I think that the Texas and Penn State cases are yet more fodder for the argument that we should not have rankings
That's a different.
until say October 1st, until the CFP rankings come out. I don't know. And I know that's never going to change because you need some sort of rankings to, put headlines on big matchups.
Content.
Yeah. And, that's why it's like a dumb question when you ask a coach. Like if you ask Dan Lanning, if you ask Kurt Signetti, it's like, it's a top 10 matchup. They don't care.
No.
They never care. And they have no reason to care because Sig has become very upfront about this. It's like, we don't make those narratives. You guys do. And he's right. Like they just play whoever lines up opposite him. It doesn't matter.
Literally the media's job.
Yeah. But to ask a coach if they acknowledge that, the answer is no. Indiana could be playing Tennessee Catholic Baptist Central Community College, and Sig would prepare the same way that he prepares for Oregon or Iowa or Illinois or whomever.
Who are some alums to come out of
Tennessee Catholic Baptist Central, Jarvis Javaris and Lamar,
Rick
Notacap, Torque Lewith, Xmas Jackson Flaxen Waxen.
Wasn't Diego Pons a transfer?
Diego Pons transferred from Tennessee Catholic Baptist Central to the University of Indiana, the evil version of where his brother D'Angelo Pons plays.
I did see there was a tweet that came up about Fernando Mendoza messaging somebody on LinkedIn.
Oh, that was funny.
That's
And
real.
Fernando in his LinkedIn profile has University of Indiana, Bloomington.
That is true. I checked that. I went to his LinkedIn, and as of a couple days ago when I checked it, it's still there, which is funny because in his education section on his LinkedIn, it says Indiana University. But honestly, I don't care. He can spin the rock.
Yeah.
And that's all.
Yeah, he
His
gets
LinkedIn
fast.
profile is impressive. I
Yeah.
will tell you that. He's got internships. He's got skills. It's got everything. Real
Are
deal.
you guys LinkedIn analyzing this team?
Well, Plaskoff aren't you familiar with
Are you guys
LinkedIn, aren't you?
LinkedIn
I
Warriors?
am quite familiar. I've reached the 500 plus mark.
Well,
Ooh.
doesn't
He's
your
a
dad have
LinkedIn
motion?
Warrior.
Yeah,
Warrior.
Plaskoff likes to brag that. I don't know if it's
Can-
brag. He just
I have motion.
we've mentioned multiple times that your dad has LinkedIn
Well,
motion.
my dad has LinkedIn motion because he's a professor and he connects with all his students and people that he works with.
It's
But
called networking.
it is networking.
So that's part of the job.
I have
Yeah.
motion now because I have the 500 plus connections mark.
Can I ask a question about this AP poll thing? So, this AP poll thing. Okay, so like theoretically, like if Indiana were to lose to Oregon or to beat Oregon, like how do you see them shifting around in all of this? What are your guys' stakes?
Indiana beats Oregon on the road in Autzen Stadium. Clear cut number 2
What
with
do you think
first.
would happen to Oregon?
Oregon would probably drop to 7 or 8. Indiana clear cut number 2 with first place votes. I don't think that they're going to catapult to number
They can't
1.
jump Miami.
No.
You can't jump
I'm
Miami.
going to challenge that.
The thing is that it depends on how Indiana wins that game. If they go in there and I don't think this is going to happen. Let me be very clear. But if they go in there and they win by 28 points, number 1, clear. If Indiana goes in, wins by 7, like 6 or 7 points. Number 2,
You did the thing.
Number 2 with first place votes, because right now Miami's body of work and its existing ranking is probably going to carry enough weight. Now, you could also say that Ohio State would do the same. But either way, I mean, if you keep winning, eventually there are going to be fewer and fewer people ahead of you, but it also means the target on your back gets even bigger.
I think if Indiana goes into Autzen and beats Oregon by 1 or by 20, however many it is, Indiana would be 6-0 with a win over ranked Illinois, a top 10 win over Oregon on the road, and a win at notably difficult Kinnick Stadium at Iowa.
And Old Dominion.
And Old Dominion.
Rank ODU.
The Monarchs are climbing. Let
Rank
me pull that up
ODU.
real quick.
Rank ODU.
Old Dominion is 32nd now in strength of record.
Rank ODU.
Anyways, if Indiana goes in and has, that would be 4 top 50 wins and probably, 3 top 30 win. I don't know what it would be. I think they could be number 1, and I think they should be number 1.
Why do they jump Miami?
Well,
What's your bashing of not bashing?
Let me-
but
let me
why are
take
they
a look at
better than
Miami. okay.
He didn't have his numbers ready. It's a rare Plaskoff fumble moment.
Miami,
ready.
Nah, let him cook.
the Notre Dame win is not as good as it was in week 1 because Notre Dame is a 2-loss team. Yes, they're a good team,
They don't have a defense.
but
That's
Notre
the-
Dame,
that's their
Very
problem.
you
apparently
can
don't
kind of
have
treat
defense.
that Notre Dame game similar to Indiana's win over Illinois. Like Notre Dame and Illinois both dropped to kind of the same status.
One's behind the other.
South Florida should not be treated as a ranked win. Because that was, for lack of a better, I mean, South Florida's a good team, but for lack of a better term, that was a Linsanity run at the beginning of the year. And then Florida State, I mean, that's a good win. Florida at home is, I mean, DJ Lagway threw 5 picks, didn't he?
Yeah,
So-
that was
Wasn't that against LSU? Was it not?
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that was against LSU. in
DJ
Death Valley.
Lagway was pre-week 5 DJ Lagway where he actually won a game.
Yeah.
I think it would be, in my eyes, I think Indiana would be 1. In the eyes of the AP poll, I think Indiana would be number 2.
Fair enough. Okay.
What would you say, Ava?
I agree with that. I think Indiana would jump to 2 or 3. I think if they lost, though, you would see them probably taking a tumble.
Well, it also depends on how they lose because
True.
my part of me thinks that this is going to be another one of those games where it's kind of like Ohio State, where Indiana goes in and gets the brakes beaten off of them because Autzen is one of the loudest places in the country. And the voters are going to take that and be like, oh, see, Indiana was never good, and drop them to like 22. I don't think they're going to drop that far, but you could definitely see that kind of free fall. If Indiana keeps it close, like how the Ohio State game was last year at Autzen, might drop like 2 spots, maybe. But, we're splitting hairs.
I
AP
think-
polls shouldn't matter because the CFP rankings come out in like a month.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah.
they do come out in a month. I get that. It was seriously like I wanted to see what you guys thought about that because this is something that is very valued right now across college football as a whole. And, it poses a lot for Indiana, I think, come postseason and really the narrative of Indiana through college football. Where essentially where they are sitting in this list of numbers is really what it is.
I think everybody expects Indiana to lose.
Yes,
So
including
I mean,
Vegas.
game day is going to be at Oregon. Indiana's was opened as a double-digit underdog, which is no longer the case. Everything is in line for Indiana to lose this game because Oregon is like the sweet team of college football and media. Everybody loves Oregon. Dan Lanning's the greatest, whatever. It's Indiana again. They're not supposed to be here. Whatever. Blah 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 blah. If Indiana is to win, that would define the program.
Yes.
And I mean, you can say that about Iowa going into a tough, gritty road. This is Iowa plus. Iowa plus plus.
Yeah,
of
plus is, I don't even know if that's
tough atmosphere, tough opponent. Yeah, Illinois is kind of the biggest statement win, I would think, of the year. But if Indiana is to win this game, this would be the biggest win in program history.
Undoubtedly.
Oh, for sure. It would be talked about forever. Maybe not forever.
No, it'd be
talked-
forever. The way
Yeah.
Indiana talks about sports.
It
it'd be
would be
forever.
talked
Oregon
for a
has not
while.
lost a regular season Big Ten game yet.
No.
Mhm.
Dan Lanning is 11-0 in the Big Ten.
Hey, Nick, who's the last team to win at Austin Stadium?
Indiana, 2004, Jerry DiNardo, 30-24 in a game that Oregon outgained Indiana approximately 500 to 175 in total offense. Oregon turned the ball over 7 times.
Now that's a broadcaster that's prepped for his game this week.
Yeah, Indiana had 3 wins in 2004. 2 of them were over ranked teams, but Oregon was also in the dumps that year. I think they only won 5 games. That was 21 years ago. So that game is now old enough to drink. But no, Oregon has
Join
not
the club.
lost at Autzen Stadium since Michael Penix and Washington won there in 2022. And no, Washington was not a Big Ten team at the time, so that doesn't count.
But they
Kalen
had ties
DeBoer-
to former Indiana quarterback Michael Penix.
and Kalen DeBoer. So, yeah. Or Autzen is a nigh on impossible place for any team to win. It's a smaller stadium. Capacity-wise, it's close to Memorial Stadium. But it gets really, really loud.
And I just got the engineering reasoning behind why it's so loud
My guess
from
is-
one sound engineer, Henry Thuss.
Is it kind of like Lumen Field in Seattle where the stands deflect the sound back onto the field?
His explanation, this is verbatim, it's a bowl-like shaped stadium going into the ground, and the ground holds the sound in because the sound waves are just going straight back down.
They don't bounce.
No.
Bingo. Huh.
So
very
you're pretty
close.
close.
Probably with the overhangs,
It's kind of
like-
like Lumen Field where
Yeah.
it bounces off the top and comes back.
yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, we might not even need a crowd mic on the WIUX broadcast.
Probably won't.
I mean, we're going to use one, but I'll have to keep my hand on the volume knob in
It
the first
really-
half. And
Doesn't seat more than Memorial Stadium.
No,
But they-
roughly the same.
Henry's analysis makes sense.
they've got SRO. They can get over 60,000 in there.
Yeah.
The listed capacity, I believe, is 54,000, but they can put
They've broke
60,000 plus.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the record's 56 or something, isn't it?
It's in Oregon's game notes.
Yeah.
And I want to get this right. Yeah. So the record attendance was against Ohio State last year, 60,129 fans.
Oh, they
Holy
broke
That's a lot of
60.
standing room.
cow.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of SRO.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, that's 6,000 plus over the listed capacity, which is 54,000. So realistically, you're looking at a stadium that is approximately the size of Memorial Stadium that everybody who has been there says is deafeningly loud.
Plays louder than it is.
It plays probably like the shoe at Ohio State.
There's that. The shoe's different, though.
Yeah.
The
that
shoe,
shakes your
yeah.
entire being when you're on the field.
I would expect
it
I would
helps that
expect
Indiana's
Oregon
seen that.
I would expect Oregon to do the same, crowd wise, and it's good luck for Fernando Mendoza trying to run the offense because if Iowa timed up the silent count, Oregon's gonna have a field day.
Yeah.
with that.
Indiana needs to
this
figure out
is-
that silent
This
count.
is
man.
another reason why this is Iowa plus plus. We can even add more pluses if we need to. But,
I don't know if you even
It's-
comp it to Iowa. Just comp it to OSU and call it a day.
Yeah.
well, I'm talking about this year with this team.
Okay.
There have been guys on this team that played last year in those environments, and obviously it did not go well.
Right.
The Iowa game was a step in the right direction of knowing how to at least not even play well, but play well enough to manage a crowd and come out with a win.
Get the
It
job
wasn't
done.
pretty. They got the job done. I think that will significantly help coming into this game. And also with the bye week, you have an extra week to plan and work on things. The crowd mic is going at the crowd noise is going at Indiana's practices. We saw that yesterday before media availability. They're going to, I think they'll be more ready than they were last year and more ready than they were for Iowa. It will be louder. It will be different. Obviously, the stakes are higher. You have to travel across the country. But I think Indiana can manage. I don't know about playing well, but I think Indiana can manage to at least give themselves a chance.
That is the one thing I wanted to ask you guys about. With Indiana coming off the bye week, did we learn anything? Have they done anything differently? What did we learn from them on bye week that they talked about?
I mean, all the players that we talked to yesterday said they started Oregon prep the day after Iowa. So I guess it's just been more of the same.
Yeah, they've really kept it tight-chested.
as you would expect.
Yeah, they're not going to give ammo. That's for sure.
Right.
But I mean, I also can imagine though that like, yeah, they might be like giving more attention to certain aspects, and you know, you have the bye week, you have an extra week to prep for this Oregon team, which they're probably grateful for. But this is a very process-oriented program and team, and so I can imagine that they've kept a lot of the same similar processes and whatever going through the past couple weeks, because that's just really what Signetti preaches and what this program is built on.
Let's also remember that Oregon had an extra week to practice and prep for Indiana too, because Oregon's coming off the bye as well. So,
well, that's the other thing I was going to ask about. You're just jumping it. I don't know if you guys watched Oregon's press conferences. Did you learn anything from Oregon, if they've done anything on bye special other than probably start on Sunday right after the Penn State game?
It's the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you have an extra week to get healthy, which for Indiana means D'Angelo Pons will likely be 100%. And you're reset mentally, physically. And the thing that Indiana has this year that it did not have against Ohio State or Notre Dame last year that I think could be an asset is Pat Coogan. Because Coogan started 13 games at Notre Dame last year, including that game against Indiana and the entire college football playoff.
That's the national championship.
Yes. And this is a guy in Coogan who knows what those environments are like because Notre Dame plays in those all the time. And he's your center. So I think if there's anybody who knows how to handle something like this up front, it's going to be Pat Coogan. And also you've got the likes of, well, two of the other four guys on the O-line, Bray Lynch and Carter Smith, who were at Ohio State last year and at Notre Dame last year. Drew Evans tore his Achilles, I think. It was Achilles or ACL?
I think it was Achilles.
Yeah, before Michigan, so he didn't play in either of those games. But this is an offensive line that has gained more experience, and with Coogan in the middle, I think that's kind of an understated asset for Indiana. Also, although it didn't go well, Fernando Mendoza has played in Autzen before, so I wonder if maybe he's got some sort of base level recollection of what that's like and maybe how he can handle it. Although, again, Cal did not have success against Oregon in 23 because Cal was not good.
Well, that's the other thing, too, with this team being so veteran present, and they're all Power 5 guys, Power 4, transferring in anymore. They've all seen big environments. Like, even, Benson's seen the Big 12. He's been on the road at Texas Tech and all that type of stuff when he was with Colorado. They've all seen tough environments. Now it's a matter of can they put it together. And I will comment on Fernando. They were talking to Sig yesterday, and they asked him about Fernando. I've never seen that dude light up with a smile more in my life. They went, "What do you think about Fernando?" And his face was glowing with a smile. He went, "That kid is prepped more than anyone I've ever seen at the position. So if there's anyone who's going to be ready for Oregon, as ready as you can be without playing them, it's probably going to be Fernando Mendoza."
This was at the game day interviews?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds about right. He's kind of a nerd. But like rightfully so.
I mean, look
he's
at his
he's
LinkedIn,
good at his
right?
craft.
Yeah,
look at his LinkedIn, apparently. He's good at his craft, though. And honestly, like, I feel like as a head coach, too, that's what you want from your quarterback. Like, how does that not make you light up?
Right.
Like, he's the
prototype.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out Andrew Luck.
I mean, you think about this, like Curt Signetti and Dan Lanning. I'm bringing this into the context of this game. Curt Signetti and Dan Lanning have a combined head coaching record of 175-43.
Is that good?
Yeah.
You think
Dan
so?
Lanning is 40-6. Curt Signetti is 135-37.
And that's over how many years?
Let's see. Since 2011.
That's
For
like,
Signetti.
14 years,
Yeah.
15 years. That's pretty decent.
Yeah. With Signetti, every quarterback that he has had, I know at least dating back to his James Madison days, every quarterback that he's had has won Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year in the conference, or has been honored at the conference level to some degree. Like Curtis Rourke was second team All Big Ten,
I
something
think
like that.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
he's
honored,
had some
yeah, he
kind
had
of
an
conference honoree. Mendoza's probably going to be right back in there. Dan Lanning, you look at his quarterbacks. I mean, Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel, they're in the NFL. I mean, these are two coaches that, for lack of a better term, breed quarterbacks to be their best. And Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza, they are no exception. Whoever wins this game will be the Heisman frontrunner between Moore and Mendoza. The storylines they don't get any better than this. It really doesn't.
Which brings me to the next point of Oregon's actual team breakdown. The 5-0 Oregon Ducks, 2-0 in conference play, number 3 in the country. Like we've said, they're on bye. And like we've covered, they're pretty good at football. They're running the spread offense. Dante Moore, the quarterback, 1,200 yards in the air. He's got 14 touchdowns and 1 interception on the year, which sounds kind of similar to another quarterback playing in this game. He is the Heisman frontrunner. Their rushing attack, they have 1,200 rushing yards as a team, which includes 12 different ball carriers. Those rushing yards also include the punter, who I assume, ran a fake at some point. Their biggest weapon on offense, their wide receiver, DeCarrion Moore. He's a 5-star freshman out of Duncanville, Texas, which if you know high school football, Duncanville, that's breeds NFL players and breeds freak athletes for free. He's got 19 receptions for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns on the year. And their offensive line, which the measurements are just hilarious. This is from left to right on their offensive line, left tackle, right tackle. 6'8", 320, 6'5", 320, 6'2", 330, 6'3", 330, 6'6", 330.
Big fellas.
Large
Huge.
humans on the front line. Which brings me to the defense. The 4-2-5 that Oregon runs is headlined by Mateo
Uyunglele.
Try that one more time.
That he got it. He's the actual broadcaster here.
DJ Uyunglele's brother.
Yeah, that one. 5-star defensive lineman, top draft prospect, and then in the defensive backfield, Daniel Thieneman. That name
Dylan
sounds.
Thieneman.
I don't know why I wrote Daniel.
The Purdue transfer.
Yeah,
The pride of Westfield.
the guy everyone's familiar with on
Who
the
has
roster
finally gotten on a good team.
and has recognition.
He was scary when Purdue was awful.
Yeah,
Now it's like, oh boy.
it was throw to the other side of the field.
Yes.
He was the one that caught Drew Aller's scheduled pick to end that game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Read the
jumped
play
it.
the entire way. He is an incredible defensive player.
But back to the specifics of Oregon, of just how good of a football team they are. They're blowing people out left and right. I mean, that's just, and they had Penn State on the ropes throughout the game. Penn State just came back and forced overtime. They were up, I want to say it was 17-3 before Penn State actually scored again.
It probably should have been, I think, 20-3, because I believe Atticus Sappington missed a
He
field
missed
goal
one,
in
yeah.
the first half. It could have been 20-3 Oregon.
That brings me, I'll get back to that point.
No, go
Okay.
for it. You got it.
Well, I was looking at Oregon statistically earlier this morning, and Atticus Sappington is 2 of 4 on field goals beyond 40 yards.
Correct.
So if Oregon's going to move down the field. There is no question about it.
There's forks
But
and
if
kitchens.
Indiana is able to hold Oregon, at least from entering the red zone and forcing them, outside the 25 and making Atticus Sappington kick from beyond 40, I mean, he's 2 of 4. It could work at least once.
You look at his career field goal numbers dating back to 2022 at Oregon State, 84.4%. Nico Radicic, by way of comparison, smaller sample size, is Radicic, 16 for 17 field goals, perfect on PATs. Sappington has missed 4 PATs. And 40 yards or longer, Sappington is 11 of 17 in his career, his longest 48. Nico Radicic, his longest 46, but we've seen him kick from 50-plus in warmups. So Oregon, from deep field goal range, not a gimme by any.
Not even deep, moderate even.
Yeah, moderate field goal range.
You
So-
stop him at the
That
30.
could definitely come into play.
And
for sure.
that's one of the reasons why against Penn State, Dan Lanning went for it on 4th down more than he has in any other game in his tenure as a head coach. Oregon went for it 7 times on 4th down against Penn State. They converted on 5 of those. And I would not be surprised to see the same blueprint, just because Sappington from moderate to deep field goal range is not a shoo-in by any indication.
To be fair, what college kicker is.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
Also, how about that name?
Atticus Sappington, redshirt senior kicker, Portland, Oregon.
You had to throw the lob, didn't you?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's that. If you think of guys who would be kickers, Atticus Sappington, high on the list. High on the list.
You just had to throw the lob, didn't you?
Yeah.
Nick's been doing this all week with his name. He's just had a
Oh,
lot
I
of
didn't
fun
even
with
know
it.
that.
Yes, you did.
No, I have not heard that once this week from him.
Well, you're gonna hear it.
Yeah.
You gonna do it like that on the broadcast?
No.
You do the whole broadcast like that.
The second half from Autzen Stadium, Indiana and Oregon locked in a close one. I could. And then everybody would tune out, and I would have terrible tape, and it'd be a waste of time. But it would be good for the bit.
It's just Sky Sports.
It would be good for the bit.
It'd be Sky Sports.
Sky Sports. Westwood One's coverage of the NFL in London had a British play-by-play guy on the radio. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
fun.
all the radio guys in the UK, I think, are all British.
Yeah, and they all have those microphones where you hold it up to your mouth,
Yeah.
and it's got like the screen above. And they all sound very samey, but it was an interesting voice because this connects to Oregon. The announcer was like, Dylan Gabriel, the Browns quarterback, 1st and 10 from the 25. The rookie out of Oregon. I'm like, man, it gives like a whole different feel.
Yeah.
So if you call the Oregon game with that accent, theoretically,
Theoretically.
you could send the tape to somebody in the UK and you'd probably get a job.
Maybe, but I don't know. I'd like to think that my American voice is just fine.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
Well, that touchdown was pure class.
Dante Moore drops it in the bucket from 45 yards out, and Oregon takes a 7-0 lead.
Oh, he's only gone and done it.
Now we're going to start just calling a fake play-by-play game in wild accents.
Well,
Welcome to the podcast.
Dante Moore, regardless of what accent you talk about him, this guy's a stud.
Yeah.
Dante Moore is really good.
He is very good.
What have you seen on tape from him, Nick?
He can spin it, man. He can extend plays. He extended a lot of plays against Penn State. He threw one back across the middle. He was close to the boundary, and he threw back across the middle inside the numbers and hit Kenyon Sadiq right in the chest on the run with a defender in his face.
I'm watching that in my head right now, and that looked real Mahomey.
Yeah, it looked a little Mahomey. But no, Dante Moore he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and he's earned that. He's earned that right. He's efficient, just like Fernando Mendoza. He's mobile, just like Fernando Mendoza. He's a little bit smaller. He's poised in the pocket. And if the play breaks down, he can make something out of nothing. He's one of the top prospects in the draft for a reason. He's just an all-around stud. He doesn't make stupid decisions very often with the football. And Indiana's going to have to be, like Aiden Fisher likes to say, on their P's and Q's defensively, making sure that he is accounted for at all times. Because if Indiana doesn't keep a QB spy on him consistently, then he could make things happen with his legs and get that Autzen Stadium crowd rocking real fast.
Yeah, and Dante Moore I was looking at draft prospect rankings, and Dante Moore is consistently in the top 10. A lot of guys have him at a high 80s to a 90 grade, which is about as high as you can get.
He's earned it.
He's like Fernando Mendoza in a lot of things, but notably does not have a LinkedIn profile.
Ooh, well, there's your edge. They talk about those intangibles. Make the LinkedIn, Dante Moore.
Where's your internships at, Dante Moore?
Although he probably won't need it because he's got a bachelor's of arts in spinning the rock.
Yeah, maybe a master's. I'd argue a master's.
Yeah.
If you're an NFL prospect, you're probably a master's.
Maybe a doctorate.
You got to get.
You gotta be in the NFL for a doctor.
Yeah, okay.
I think you got a doctorate if you're a first-round pick.
This is really funny to me. The Fernando Mendoza has some courses he's taken at Cal on his LinkedIn profile. Analytical geometry and calculus.
What?
Introductory probability and statistics for business. Some are two of the analytical geometry and calculus is kind of.
What's his internships look like?
Let's see. Intern with ACRE Investment Company, LLC. An intern with Newmark. Acquired proficiency in Excel for data analysis, reporting problem sets and analytics.
Shocker. Quarterback
he was
is
a head
smart.
football coach.
A head football coach, Next Level Sports in Berkeley, yeah.
Shocker. Quarterback is smart.
Next, you're going to tell me there's forks and kitchens.
Cal-educated quarterback is smart.
I mean, you hear him speak. He just sounds like he's smart.
He's well-read.
Yeah,
Very well-read.
I'm thinking about this. In terms of like IQ, SAT score, ACT score, whatever, Indiana's center quarterback combination has to be one of the most intelligent in the country. Because
for
you've
sure.
got guys with degrees from Notre Dame and Cal.
Yeah.
Like, I put them up against
That's
anybody in
the
like
new-
a knowledge bowl.
I've thought about this. The new age of the
The
transfer
knowledge
portal.
bowl.
If I was like, now this is not Mendoza and Coogan, but this is a hypothetical that I've always thought about. If I was a college athlete that was good enough to be like in college and a good college player, but not good enough to go pro, what I would do is start out at the school that would give me the most money and then go to a big school, get some exposure, and then transfer to an Ivy League or like a pseudo Ivy League school, get my Ivy League or pseudo Ivy League degree from playing football or whatever it is, and then get a job from that because I'm not going to the league. So I have a great degree utilizing the transfer portal. I have money from the big school, and then I have a job.
You're really finessing the system.
I'm good at that.
Finesse master Plaskoff. Coming soon to a theater near you.
That's the
hustler.
4.6 GPA on display.
Uh-huh. Not in high school anymore.
The one
Negative
that's
Ghostwriter.
LinkedIn warrior, system finesser.
what else we got?
Checks all the boxes.
What can I say?
Penn State's #1 hater.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, it was
No,
that.
I would just say Penn State's #1 knower of how good the team is.
So Penn State's number one up.
Truther?
Fraud watcher.
There it is.
Is that the word?
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah. And Texas.
Yes. Same vein. Same vein.
So
One thing
basically,
that-
Plaskoff doesn't like the top 25,
No,
Yeah.
I like the top 25 when it's accurate.
which we've.
But
Very
now
rare.
Now it is.
I saw something on
For some.
Twitter. I don't know if it was somebody just in the college football scape or in the IU Burnerverse scape, but somebody said that the college football media scape has bullied the AP top 25 into actually doing their job.
Yeah.
right?
Bullying works.
I think that was the football scape.
Oh, also, now that you mentioned the IU Burnerverse, the IU Alliance has returned, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, that came back a couple weeks ago, I
I
thought.
Yeah.
can't die. I'm all in. Kind of like Oregon's offensive line. They've allowed 1 sack this year.
One?
sack.
Yeah.
It's hard to get through 6'6", 330.
Yeah,
I was
no.
gonna say,
and
what is that,
this is-
1,500 pounds of human?
This is
Yeah.
something I wanted to touch on because I do think it's going to be a factor. Indiana's defensive coordinator, Bryant Haynes, has a massive task in front of him because if you average out the weights of all of the first-team defensive front members for Indiana and Oregon's starting offensive line. So for Indiana, it'd be Mikhail Kamara, Stephen Daly, Hosea Wheeler, Tyreek Tucker, Mario Lindino, and Kellen Wyatt. All those guys get first-team reps. They average out at 279 pounds. Tyreek Tucker is the biggest at 302. Oregon's O-line, Isaiah World, Emmanuel Pregnon, Iapani Laluolu, Dave Iuli, and Alex Harkey. Average weight, 325. That's a 46-pound difference.
In the average.
Yes, on average.
That does open the door for more movement and quick stuff.
Yeah, there is, I guess, a such thing as being too big because at a certain point you aren't as nimble as, say, a Mikhail Kamara. Mikhail Kamara is not that big.
No.
Physically, he doesn't stand out just on paper. 6'1", 262. That doesn't seem like he would be a game wrecker. Same kind of thing with Kellen Wyatt, 6'2", 257. These guys aren't big in the way that Oregon's O-line is. So I wonder is Indiana going to use a bunch of stunts? Are they going to try to mix
gonna
up
have
the looks?
to.
Are they going to, just try to get Oregon's O-line off balance? I don't know how they're going to do it. But whatever Bryant Haynes cooks up, it's going to have to be something unique scheme-wise because Oregon is just so big in the trenches.
Thinking back to Ohio State last year, obviously an offensive line with a bunch of 5-stars and large humans similar to Oregon, it was a lot of stunts. It was a lot of actions. I mean, there was safety blitzes he was bringing. It wasn't. He might have brought Farrell. Whoever was playing strong safety was brought down to the box constantly. Obviously, Terry Jones Jr. was coming off the edge a lot.
They also dropped Linnell Carr into coverage,
Yeah,
which did
Lenore
not
Carr going into
Yeah.
coverage was a decision of all time. But I mean, that's why they were able to bring their nickel on a blitz so often because they were confident enough Carr could guard Jeremiah Smith on out routes. What a wild sentence that is.
Yeah.
But
Coffee
I would
baby
assume
versus hydrogen bomb.
right. I would assume that it's going to be not a lot of the same, but the same ideology of we have to get these guys on their heels and backpedaling instead of they're looking for who their assignment is instead of just, giving them the chance to down block us into the ground or, just into the dirt.
I think Aiden Fisher said this yesterday. The first thing that this defense prioritizes itself on is stopping the run.
Yeah, you did say that.
And that's step one. Oregon will have 7 different running backs. I don't know, Nick, you have a separate board for them. I don't know how many there are.
Oregon primarily, it's kind of a 3-headed tandem, not too dissimilar to what Indiana does. You've got De'Ara Hill, who's kind of the elusive back. He's a freshman. Jaden Lamar leads the team in carries with 39. And then Jordan Davison is kind of the power back. So he averages only 4 yards a carry. But, short yardage, 3rd down, 4th down situations, Davison probably is in the backfield. Leads the team 7 rushing touchdowns. They're going to use him in goal line situations. Noah Whittington, veteran guy. He's a smaller guy. He's only 5'8", but really you'll see 3 or 4 running backs in there. You might see Dejon Riggs or Jay Harris, but realistically it's a 4-headed tandem, 4-headed monster at most. But Oregon will use these weird looks where they'll put running backs on either side of Dante Moore. Sometimes they'll have 3 backs in the backfield.
Wishbone.
Yeah. Yeah, they mix up looks quite a bit. They use a lot of heavy personnel. They use a lot of 2 tight end sets. Sadiq and Jamari Johnson both in there. Kenyon Sadiq, crazy athlete.
Nice.
Incredible. But yeah, Oregon will throw a lot of weird looks at you offensively. They'll spread the field, receivers outside the numbers on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And like I said, Brian Haynes, Indiana's defensive coordinator, he's going to have his hands full with this game plan.
And I think what's worth noting, too, with that is that against Penn State, they were spread out a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot of shotgun. It was a lot. I don't even think I saw a pistol in the plays I was able to catch. It was a lot of shotgun.
If it was a pistol, there was a second back in there as well, kind of acting as a fullback.
Okay.
But they use a lot of weird looks, man.
Keeps defenses on their toes.
Yeah.
Kept Penn State on their heels.
Yeah.
Another thing, this is totally unrelated to Oregon, but Aiden Fisher last night in his player press conference, this is why you come to Indiana, to play in games like this. This is what Indiana football is now. We're going to play in these big games and expect great outcomes.
That's what you want from your linebacker.
Yeah.
That is, if there is one Cignetti disciple, if there is one guy that Kurt Cignetti, if he could choose one guy to represent him, it's Aiden Fisher.
Correct.
And that is what you get with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
He's not
thought
wrong.
that was just wild to think about that quote.
Yeah, I mean,
Who would have thought hearing that at this time 3 years ago?
That's my point.
yeah, I saw a tweet earlier this week. It was like, what 3 years ago, if you thought about this, what would be more odd to you? One, that Indiana and Oregon is a top 10 matchup, or 2, that Indiana and Oregon is a conference game.
The top reply to that I saw was somebody's going to think that's an out-of-conference basketball game.
Yeah. I think you could believe that this is a conference game because the wheels were turning toward conference realignment at this time in 2023 or 22, whatever.
3 years ago, yes. It was
3
kind
years
of well
ago,
known that people were
the wheels were
Pac-12
spinning.
was
If
dead.
we bring it back to 10 years, though.
10 years, you're talking a different story.
Yeah, you take it back 10 years, you're thinking, huh? What's that, like a early
Non-con
season
basketball
baseball game? A
Yeah.
non-conference, like a Battle for Atlantis style basketball game? Or
ew.
maybe a game in Hawaii?
Right. The Maui Invitational.
Yeah, in Maui. I could see that. But college game day at Autzen Stadium, Indiana on game day for the 4th time in 13
games.
weeks, 13 games. Is that good?
It's not bad.
I said this on my radio show. Some are calling it, and I say this half sarcastically, the Kurt Cignetti effect. But Oregon fans are looking for Cignetti to slip up in the media, and he hasn't done it. And that's by design. Because I think after the Notre Dame debacle last year, we don't just beat top 25 teams, we beat the snot out of them. That's not what he said. But he said something and it backfired, and Kurt Cignetti might have become the first FBS head coach to get community noted on Twitter. And I think after that, Sig's like, okay, take a little more measured approach. And, both of these guys, Cignetti and Lanning, are from the Alabama cradle of coaches. Saban tree, which I think is more of like what's bigger than a tree?
Forest?
A mountain? I don't know.
The Saban mountain of coaches. Sig, obviously.
The Sabanscape.
Yeah, the Sabanscape. We'll call it that. Both of them very successful, to say the least, as assistants at Alabama. Sig, nothing but praise for Lanning. Likewise, Lanning says Indiana's got an identity. They know what they want to do. And I thought it was interesting what he said about Fernando Mendoza, because he said that Mendoza, the way he plays, the way he runs the offense is indicative of a player who knows the system really well and is really well coached. That's kind of the blueprint for Kurt Cignetti, is that you take veteran guys, you bring them into your system, and they unleash their full potential.
Take highly intelligent quarterbacks.
What do we talk about with the classes Mendoza took at Cal? Right? And on the flip side for Lanning, they got a bunch of young guys for Oregon, but his mantra is if you're good enough, you're old enough. They got 3 freshmen and 2 transfers in their secondary. Wonder if Mendoza maybe has something in his bag that he can take advantage of that, because inexperience does come back to bite teams sometimes.
If not Mendoza, Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, I hope that Mike Shanahan opens the playbook up more.
You're going to have to.
It was so vanilla against Iowa. If I'm calling runs before they happen, your play calling is too predictable. Because I never played a down and tackle football in my life. But if I can predict that a run is coming, then you bet your bottom dollar Iowa's defense could, and Oregon's defense can too.
Well, what I'd assume with that is I mean, everyone's seen Iowa's scheme for the last 35 years. It's how they're going to play it, and if you're confident enough your line can get that hole on 4th and 1 that you can get 1 yard. They just didn't.
Yeah.
Because they sent an extra blitzer off the weak side, and he grabbed him in the backfield.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of agitating as an offensive coordinator because somebody's probably supposed to pick that guy up, and they just didn't.
No, Indiana struggled in pass protection against Iowa.
That too.
The running backs gave up 4 pressures. Khalil Benson at right tackle gave up 5 pressures. And
Set the protections wrong.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, it's something Indiana has to shore up against Oregon.
Well, we'll see on Saturday, but before we get to that, back to the age-old end of this show that has gotten us in interesting places, the record prediction. We have a competition going on, as if you forget from last week, because, it's a bye week, there's nothing to predict. In first place, it's Ava Wegenke.
I beat the bye week.
She beat the bye week. We all beat the bye week. I'm in second place with 6 points. In third place, the guy to my left, Ian Plaskoff's got 5. And in fourth place, to round it out, with 4 points, Nick Rodecap.
Bringing up the rear, baby.
We noticed we're all in 1 point. We're all off by 1 point. It's not too bad yet. No one's totally out. No one's totally running away with it. Just for, actually, you know what? We're not going to go over the rules. It's not relevant yet. But at max, you can get 8 points in a week. So there could be a blowout here sooner or later, especially if somebody nails these predictions. Is anyone? I'm just going to give it up for grabs. Who's confident enough to go
I think
first?
we should go first to fourth. In that
so make
order.
Ava go first.
Yes.
Oh no, I wanna end it.
You're confident. You should
Nope.
go first.
You don't get to copy anyone else's homework.
I have it written
this
right.
is-
I have it written
This
right.
is
I
is yours.
I have it written right here in my phone.
Well, then say it first. There should be
fine.
no trouble.
Okay, so. Anyways,
Just side-eyeing the life out of him.
I'm gonna take Oregon on this one, and I'm gonna say 28-24.
I actually like that.
I'm gonna take Oregon. I'm gonna say 28-24. Just some of the stuff we saw in Iowa, the Hawkeyes really could have taken it, and they didn't. But they could have easily, and I see Oregon not making those same mistakes and taking it. Big play. It's going to be something big one way or another that I think influences this game and how it goes. Whether it's something big that Indiana does or something big that Oregon does, I think it's more going to be something big that Oregon does. So yeah, 28-24, and I'll report back how loud it is from the field.
Yeah, you're going to have to do that. Now, watch me move the goalpost. I'm making the reporters go first in the order you're in. So, Plaskoff, you're up.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm moving the goalpost. Congrats.
Huh.
You're the first.
Now-
You're the first recipient.
I've been going back and forth on this one because it's so hard for me to see Indiana losing a game with the way they've been playing, but it's also hard to see Oregon losing a game. I think this. I know I said this before Illinois, but I think this will be a very good game. It could be a game of the year candidate for either team this season.
It's already game of the year candidate for college football.
No, I mean like after it's played, you
Right.
can look back on it and be like, wow,
Right.
this was. Anyways, do I go against the Tide or do I not?
Roll Tide?
No.
Plenty of Alabama footprints all over this.
Yeah.
All right. I
The saving
am
escape.
going to take a risk here. And I know I said that Indiana was going to go 10-2 with losses to Oregon and Penn State before the season started. I'm going to take Indiana by a score of 31-28 in Eugene.
Nick Rodecap.
I got some numbers for you.
Oh.
Indiana and Oregon, both top 15 nationally in pretty much everything. But offensive success rate, defensive success rate, top 10 in points per game and points allowed per game, top 10 in total offense and total defense. Sometimes we talk about coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb to talk about when an unstoppable force meets a movable object. Here, This is a hydrogen bomb versus a hydrogen bomb.
Yeah.
Two unstoppable forces, or an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object.
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah. It's going to be typical Pacific Northwest weather for this time of year, which is gray and misty and maybe a little rainy and ugly. Cool. Football weather.
Ideal for offensive linemen and defensive linemen.
Yeah. This has the potential, as we talked about, to be one of the best games of the year in retrospect. You look back on it, you're like, wow. I can't, with Oregon's size, with their skill position guys, I think the Ducks take this one. I'm going to go Oregon 24, Indiana 13.
Wow.
24-13, Oregon over Indiana.
13's low.
I am happy to be proven wrong, but I'm standing on business.
Period.
The last time he said that, what happened the last time you said you were happy to be proven wrong, Nick?
Bert Bielema ended up with his hands on his knees in the fourth quarter.
What a hilarious
Staring at the
reaction
ground as
photo that
Mr.
is.
Brightside blared from the much maligned and slightly inadequate Memorial Stadium speakers.
Slightly.
Yeah, those speakers, man.
And we were ducking under the stadium, and I accurately predicted, watch the national media move the goalposts on Indiana. I'm referencing the Illinois game. I'm happy to be proven wrong again. But Oregon 24-13 is my final answer, Your Honor.
So we've got 2 for Oregon and 1 for Indiana.
One for Indiana, who acknowledges that he's going against the tide and taking the heavy underdog pick here.
Yeah.
Yes. In other words, slightly unconfident, but wants to take a risk.
He's the gambling man. Shout out Kenny Rogers. I'm not going to be different. I'm going to pick Oregon. I think Oregon wins this game by 2 scores. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Oregon wins 30-17.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah.
2-score margin.
Yeah. I don't see how Indiana keeps this within 3 points.
Freshman DBs.
For Oregon?
See,
Yeah,
okay.
but
You
if-
know
but,
what? Hold
like-
on, Nick. Wait. Because I did this last year before the Notre Dame game. Christian Gray had played like 2 games before the playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dude was locked down for the entirety of the playoffs. You can't, the freshman DB thing,
We don't know.
It's a stance to take. I'm
don't
just
know.
telling you, it doesn't always work.
what
Here
Dan Lanning
are my
says.
thoughts. Do I think in the back of my mind that Oregon will win? Yes. But here's why I made my prediction. I think Bryant Haynes will cook up something with stunts on the defensive line that can work. Oregon is going to be running the ball. I think Indiana can stop the run better than they can defend the pass. And I think Oregon will be running more than passing. DBs for Oregon, I think Indiana's wide receivers will benefit. I'm not saying it'll be a dead giveaway, but I think Surratt and Cooper and E.J. Williams can at least put up a really good fight against those young DBs.
No,
EJ
for sure.
Williams could be a matchup problem, if nothing else. I mean, he's a little bit bigger. He's a little bit longer. Oregon's tallest DB is actually Sione Lalea, who is 6'4". But EJ Williams feels like he's taller than 6'3".
Yeah.
He plays bigger than 6'3".
And if
Isn't
Mendoza
he-
can,
I thought he was 6'5". Anyways.
he looks like he's 6'5". Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so there's
Cleats
that.
and a helmet help.
Yes.
By the way.
And the other thing, I mean, the thing that a lot of people are talking about is atmosphere. And I know we've talked about it. Audson's going to be loud. There's no doubt about it. But experienced center in Pat Coogan. You have a quarterback who's played at this stadium before. You have to imagine he's telling all of his teammates about it. Obviously, it'll be different when they're actually there. But I think Indiana can manage. And when Indiana is able to manage the crowd, get comfortable, I think they can start to play a little bit like themselves. And if Indiana plays like themselves, they're hard to beat. You saw at Iowa, they didn't play like themselves, and they were almost beat. I think they can put up a fight. Do I think Oregon will win? Yes, but am I taking the risk that Indiana can do something? Also, yes.
Stand on business. Stand on business.
Hey, he said it.
Yeah, but real quick, before we go, Oregon's edge rushers, Mateo Uyunglele, Tatum Tuioti, those guys are going to be problems.
Yeah.
Those guys are...
They're gonna be in Fernando's face.
Yes, they are really talented edge rushers.
He better get familiar with those
This
guys.
is where we're going to see what Fernando's made of.
Yeah, and Sig talked about how
You're gonna see what that
Oregon,
entire roster's made of.
Oregon's going to roll 4 guys in at about 330 pounds or bigger on that interior D-line.
Yep.
Now,
Big fellas.
this is one of the last things for me here is Oregon has played 2 Big Ten games so far, both of them on the road. Obviously, the Penn State game was really good, and Oregon came out victorious. At Northwestern, yes, you're traveling across the country, but it was a 34-14 ball game, and it was fairly close at the half, I believe. They got off to a slow start against Oregon State, but pulled away late, obviously. Oregon was up 17-0 at the half. And for Northwestern, that is probably less than what you would expect them
Moral
to be.
victory.
And they gave up 14 points in the fourth quarter. We'll see. This Oregon team has holes. It has weak spots, but it's deep. So we'll see.
Before we get out of here, once over again, because we just talked for an extra 5 minutes after the score predictions. I said 30-17 Oregon.
I said 31-28 Indiana.
28-24 Oregon.
I believe I said 24-13, I think.
I think you said 30. They said 24?
No, that was you. You said like 31.
We can watch it
17.
back. We can watch it
I
back.
believe it was Oregon by 11 in a low-scoring game, so it would have been 24-13.
Sure. Math checks out.
Yeah.
There's our record predictions. Thank you for watching us on Pack the Rock Podcast. Be sure to follow all of us for your Indiana football needs. Ava Wegenke will be at the game on the field. Nick will be calling the game, and Plaskoff, I think, will be tweeting from his house.
From the comfort of my couch.
We'll be here in Bloomington. Make sure to follow along with us for all your Indiana football needs, and make sure to follow along with the Hoosier Network for all your Indiana athletics needs and updates. Thank you all for joining us again. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.